Welcome.
Thank you.
¿Tiene micro?
So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me thank the organizer of this conference, which are giving me the opportunity to bring the voice of the European GNSS Agency, the GSA, and specifically of the EGNOS and Galileo program, which are the two European flagship programs. I am particularly pleased to be here today because Spain is one of the major contributors, one of the major supporters of EGNOS and Galileo. Not only we, not so far from here in Madrid, we have the Galileo Service Center, which is the gateway to the users. We have the EGNOS Service Center, but we have as well, under deployment, the Galileo Security Monitoring Center, which is a center which is going to provide the monitoring of the security health of the overall Galileo system. But I could continue by telling you that we at the GSA, we are around 200 staff coming from 21 countries at this stage. However, Spain is the country who is most well represented. We have 18% of the staff members are coming from Spain. And I could continue by telling you that for what concerns the downstream market, the agency is deeply involved in investing in the downstream market, mostly with Horizon 2020 funds. Well, once again, Spain is among the two best countries in terms of contract awards. And I'm not mentioning here also the remarkable results achieved by the Spanish industry on the upstream value chain. So I can certainly say that Spain is one of the major contributors of EGNOS and Galileo. So now, in these 10 minutes, I will try to tell you where we are with these two programs, and most of all, in line with the theme of this conference, what is ahead. And I have to tell you right away that Galileo and EGNOS are indeed a success story. You will see in a moment some figures. But let me tell you right away where these success stories are coming from. I would say two main reasons. The first one is a very performing system. And here, a tribute is to be provided, certainly to industry, to the European industry, to the European Space Agency, who have conceived a system which is very accurate and is not second to anyone in the world. So this high performance is coming not only from one design choice, by many. I can certainly quote a very comprehensive and extensive ground segment. I remind you that the Galileo ground segment is all around the world. This is contributing a lot to the high accuracy of the system. We also are exploiting high technology for what concerns the clocks, but as well some key design choices of some years ago have proved now to be quite successful. I could quote here, for instance, the use of the double frequency, which are equipping all the Galileo satellites. And here the GPS only recently is gradually ramping up. So this is certainly one additional element for providing an accurate and robust positioning. And I could continue to tell you that there are other specific features on the Galileo system which provide Galileo to be also quite competitive looking at the future. For instance, we are now testing a new concept of signal called open signal authentication, which is a kind of signature, a kind of stamp that the signal is trustable. We are as well testing another service, which is the so-called high accuracy service, which is promising to deliver a decimeter accuracy. And what is very important and unique for Galileo is that this high accuracy is distributed worldwide through a specific third frequency, which is then delivered directly by the satellite. And this is quite unique. There is no other navigation system in the world which provides this feature. So this very interesting design has allowed Galileo to be really at the forefront of the technology. So this is certainly one reason. The second reason is that since the beginning, Europe understood that it was not sufficient to inject a signal in space. I remember some years ago, a professor asking me, Carlo, but why you call it a service? Isn't it sufficient to inject a signal in space? This is what the GPS is doing, and look at the result. Well, I think that if we can speak about a success today, is because at that time, we were far looking in the future, and we understood that speaking about the service was key. Service is, in essence, the bridge between a secure operation and the users. So it's the bridge between the system and the user. And this has proved to be fundamental. Let me try to explain with a concrete example what I mean. In 2011, we have been disclosing to the civil aviation service EGNOS. At that time, EGNOS was the first pan-European navigation system. Until that moment, there were navigation systems for civil aviation, but on a national basis. This was the first time we were introducing with a service system with a European perspective. At that time, we had to answer to concrete questions like who is going to certify this system? Because until that moment, only at national level it has been done. What is the perimeter of liabilities between the different actors? Very new. How to incentivize the development of new approach procedure? How to persuade the airlines to invest money on the update of the avionics. So we, as GSA, have been answering to all these questions. We can say that from 2011 to now, what we see is that we have around 30,000 flights a month which are using EGNOS. We have close to 350 airports which are using EGNOS. I think this is the best answer on the goodness, on the choice which we made some years ago. And I could continue to make another example, maybe another one on Galileo, when we understood that the fundamental key to succeed was the receivers. So this is why around the years 2014-15, we started to speak with the chipset manufacturer, the receiver manufacturer, to explain what was Galileo, to explain why it was important for them to invest on Galileo. And I think, again, the best answer we could receive is the amazing figure which we registered a few weeks ago, which is 1 billion receiver compatible with Galileo in the time frame which ran from the declaration of initial service at the end of 2016 and now. I could continue providing other examples, but I think I gave you a good grasp of what it means, service provision. What you can see as well here in concrete is some figures. We show indeed the remarkable, incredible, amazing success of EGNOS and Galileo in few years. And what you see here is that in some area, de facto, Galileo and EGNOS have become a real standard. So in area like surveying or mapping or precision agriculture, we can say that the penetration of EGNOS and Galileo is extremely high. But as well, in other transport sector, as the maritime, again, the penetration of EGNOS and Galileo is extraordinary. So before I speak about the future, could be interesting to have a look to this nice video. It will be very short, but it gives you a good idea of the speed on which EGNOS and Galileo have come to place. So this is where we are today. I think we can really be proud of what Europe has achieved with EGNOS and Galileo. Let me spend a few words on the future, what is ahead of us. So first of all, we need to look at improving the system. This is certain. We need to improve the service continuity. I was telling you before that Galileo, in terms of performance, is not second to any other GNSS system in the world. Where we are not first compared to GPS is the service continuity. GPS has 20 years of continuous operation. This is something we have not fully started yet. The full operation capability, meaning that point in time when the system will be fully completed, is around 1.5 years, 2 years from now. So this is certainly a primary objective we need to target: service continuity, robust in time. As well, we need to look at the market, very, very important. What we see ahead of us are macro trends, like we heard earlier today, Internet of Things. We have today more objects, more connected objects than human beings. We have intelligent transport system, and within this domain, within this macro trend, we have smart cities, we have autonomous car, we have multimodal logistics, etc. We have as well other macro trends like the shared economy, meaning the paradigm shift from the ownership of an object to the access to the object. We have the silver economy. We have an aging population, in particular in Europe. The common denominator on all these macro trends, in all of them we can find GNSS, the need of positioning and navigation and timing data. This is why I believe we can look at the future with very positive optimism. I do believe that what we see today is really the top of the iceberg. There is a very high potential to get. I can say that in a technology fast-changing world, there are certainly threats, but there are also opportunities. And the winner will be the one who will understand which are these opportunities and will be able to get ready in advance to get this opportunity. And I do believe that indeed this is the challenge for what concerns GNSS, for the European Union, and certainly for the GSA. Thank you.
Bueno, muchas gracias.